Welcome to Season 6 of the Coach Pony Podcast. We are here to help you get paid to coach, and sometimes to find clients you just need your questions answered. In this very cheesy 80s-themed season of the podcast, join me, Christie Mims, a career and business coach, and Bobbi Palmer, a dating coach, as we answer your burning questions about your coaching business, so you get more paying clients. Because after building 6- and 7-figure businesses of our own, we've learned a few things. So with that, let's get down to business. Welcome to the Coach Pony Radio Hour. Bobbi and Christie here. We are excited to help you get paid to coach, and we are taking your questions. And I am looking over at the phone line, and I see we have a caller already. Hello, caller. How can we help you? I'm listening.
Hey, Coach Pony, this is Derek calling in again. I'm watching this huge wedding of Prince Charles and Princess Diana. I really hope those two crazy kids make it. Anyway, I'm a newer coach and I've only gotten 3 clients so far. I recently discovered a high-end mastermind that seems really great to help me grow my business. It's promising a lot, but it's expensive. It's over $20,000. Should I join?
Caller, I love this question. And as always, we're going to start with a quick hot take. Should you join this expensive mastermind? Bobbi, hot take.
No.
And my hot take is also no. I'm in agreement with Bobbi.
No.
Please do not join this. Let me back the truck up a little bit. And before we talk about this, just in case you're new to coaching and you're unfamiliar with what a high-end paid mastermind is, it's usually a 6-month or year-long commitment led by a convener who's often a thought leader or very successful in your industry. They convene this mastermind that everyone participates in, and the benefit, as with any mastermind, is often not just with the leader, it's actually really with your fellow peers. And together, you come together to exchange ideas, information, resources, hold each other accountable, keep each other motivated, and by doing so, you all grow your businesses. High-end masterminds often start at $20,000 and go up from there and can be $100,000 or more. There's a big price range in them. And they usually have some sort of in-person component, usually a couple of retreats, as well as virtual in between to keep everyone connected.
Well, that sounds good, Christie. Why would we say no?
So many reasons, Bobbi. I want to unpack the first reason, if I may, because I am so soapboxy about this because this is really important. We're talking about newer coaches who have not made a lot of money as a coach. So here's the thing. The reason it's called a mastermind and not a high-end paid business course is that it is a mastermind. The value of it is in the people in the room together, not just in the leader. So if you are a new coach or a newer coach and you have 0 clients, 3 clients, even 13 clients, you just haven't made enough money in your business to get a lot of business experience, and you're still figuring a lot of really early, simple things out. And so what that means is that you don't have a lot of business experience to offer to your peers because these masterminds, for the most part, are about business, and you just don't have it. And there's not anything wrong with that. It's just that you are not yet experienced enough to be able to contribute to the business problems in the room. You haven't gotten deep enough in your business. You might not even be sure of your direction yet, which is okay. You're just not ready not ready yet for a group like this. And so I feel really, really strongly about this, that groups like these high-end paid masterminds should never let new or newer coaches in. Usually masterminds have a floor, an annual income floor. The minimum is often $250,000 a year, but normally you'll usually see them at $500,000 or $1 million, because business owners who are at the $500,000 or $1 million mark have a specific set of problems the business owners who are at a $50,000 mark or $100,000 mark don't have yet. And so you really want to be in a group of people of your peers or people ahead of you even to help lift you and your business up. And so you really need to be able to contribute. So if there's a mastermind like that that's charging that kind of rate and they're willing to let you in, it's probably a money grab and you should be really, really careful. It's just too much. You just don't have enough to offer the group. And truly, they should not have inexperienced business owners in that group. Nothing against you at all. You're just not ready yet. And that's totally fine. You'll get there eventually. Wow, that was a long answer. So Bobbi, I'm going to pause. What are your thoughts?
Really good information. The thing that I find is the masterminds that do not require a minimum income, but are still charging high end, are going to be attracting a lot of new coaches, which means not only do you not have a lot to offer, but the people in your mastermind don't either. So what happens is when you get a lot of rookies, and again, we've all been there, believe me, when you get a lot of people who don't have a lot to offer, then it becomes, it's not a mastermind at all. It could be just the leader teaching. But as somebody who's actually conducted masterminds or convened, you're not planning on doing training and teaching in that. And it's all about facilitation. And so your $20,000 investment is not going to be well used in that kind of situation where the group, it doesn't have a lot to offer yet.
Yeah. And then you're just in the mastermind for the trainer. And if you're at that point, you should be in a much cheaper business course, right? You should. And so I want to talk about price for a second. So this is a second reason not to join. If you've only gotten 0 clients or 2 or 3 clients, your business can't afford a mastermind like this. It's simply too high an investment too early in your business. And it'll put you in the red for a long time, which is incredibly stressful on you. So if you've, made $6,000, but you spent $25 on a mastermind, you're going to be really, really stressed about making that money back, which is going to make you feel desperate and uncomfortable. You'll be worried about it all the time. It's just going to make your business journey that much harder because there's no reason to spend that much money on business training. Listen, Build a Real Business is $3,000 because we want you to be able to make it back with just a client or 2 and not be super, super stressed about it. But if you just spend $25,000, unless you're already wealthy, you're going to be a little bit stressed about it. And again, that's going to make you desperate and worried and anxious. And people don't like to hire desperate, worried, anxious coaches. It's just not that attractive in a coach. I don't want you to kneecap your business so early on and sort of set yourself back and put you in this desperation, scarcity mindset. I would so much rather you get basic business training at a much more reasonable rate. And then once you've earned and proven your business and gotten to a good, comfortable place and your business can afford this kind of investment, then you can make it. Do you want to add anything to this, Bobbi?
When you spend that much money, and again, unless you're just independently wealthy, not only do you have regrets, it kind of chips away at your ego. You've made a bad decision. I know this so personally. And then you don't have money to invest in what you really need going forward. So you're in the red and you've done this huge investment. And then you realize, oh my gosh, I still have to do this and this and this. Maybe I want to hire help. I want a VA part-time, or maybe I want to do a little VIP day on this particular business problem. Or maybe I want to invest in Barb, which is a really better choice. And if you've way overinvested in this other program, are you going to have the money to do that? That's a really big problem.
Let's pause for a second because you might be wondering what Barb is. So Barb stands for Build a Real Business, which is Coach Pony's signature program all about how to build a real coaching business full of happy paying clients. So in this program, we're not about vague and woo-woo. We are about teaching you the 5 strategic business systems that you need to have in place in order to be successful. You need a coaching system so that you can get people great results. You need a conversion system so that you can get people to say yes to your coaching in a way that feels good to you. You need a marketing system so that people know who you are and they know how to find you. And you need an education system so that you can help people understand why they need to work with you as a coach. And finally, you need an onboarding system so you set your clients up for success. So if this sounds interesting to you and you are a brand new coach or you're struggling and growing or not growing enough, please go to coachpony.com/Barb, coachpony.com/Barb.
For me personally, Mastermind was not worth the value. It was too early for me, right? It was too early. My business was not really evolving yet. Things were changing. I was really clarifying things like my niche. I was really clarifying my target market. There was so much I needed to learn, and I needed to really be able to sort of sit with and really be thoughtful about. And a mastermind in a lot of ways just keeps chugging you forward. And for me personally, and for most of us, we need to focus on one thing, really understand that, really become expert at that piece, at that step, at that business process and then go, okay, I've got that. Next, move on to the next. And what happens is with Mastermind, it's just too much. You're just not settled in your business model or your approach enough to be able to go to each next step in that kind of way. You've spent all this money and now you realize, you know what? I need to go backwards and I need to really focus on this piece that I just didn't get and I just don't know very well and I'm not expert enough. But you don't have the money to invest in the expert that's going to help you do that. That's a really big reason for the big price and also for the idea that you're just not ready for that yet. In so many ways, that's my no answer.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think in order to be able to contribute, you have to have learned first and experienced first so that you have something to contribute. But, a lot of us as coaches, in the first sort of 3 to 9 months of our business, especially even the first year, it's going to change a lot. Who you thought you might have wanted to coach might not be who you really discover lights you up. How you thought you might have wanted to coach, you might discover is not really what you want to do either, or even how you wanted to market. So until you have just a solid enough business and experience in getting clients in your product and your offer so that you can benefit from the mastermind, it's just really not going to work for you. And again, you're not going to have anything to offer either. So sometimes it's not that you shouldn't be in a mastermind down the road. It's just it's a high-end paid mastermind down the road, I should say. It's just too early in your journey and you really, really need to be really clear on your business and your systems and everything else before it's going to have that return on investment for you.
So what happens in mastermind is a lot of ideas come up. Let's say you're in a mastermind with people who are ahead of you and they're coming up with great ideas. Let's say they're not all beginners like you. What happens is great ideas come up, but you don't have the infrastructure and you don't have the experience and the skills yet to actually implement those ideas. I can go back to many, many years ago of lists like 50 ideas that I wanted, 50 things that sounded like great ideas that I wanted to do. And I got those from things like the mastermind that I attended early on, but I wasn't ready to implement. That stops you in your tracks. Like, great idea, but if you can't do it and you don't understand it well enough to do it and you don't have the infrastructure to do it or this business process to do it, not only is it just an idea, but it's something that you can like beat yourself up about for not being able to accomplish. And that stops us when we're new in a lot of ways. We need to be confident and know what we're doing. And these are the kind of things that may chip away a little bit at your feeling of accomplishment.
Yeah, it's really easy to get overwhelmed instantly when you're in a room of people so far ahead of you who are doing all these things. And it's easy to second guess and think you should be doing all these things. And it's easy to then feel behind, like you're a failure. A lot of self-doubt can creep in. And then just also feel like a failure for not getting what you needed to out of the mastermind, for recognizing that you're too early in your journey and you've spent all this money and now what are you going to do?
That's right.
So we're just trying to save you from this pain. Bobbi and I both had different experiences over the years and we've seen a lot. I see coaches come to Coach Pony all the time and they're like, oh God, I wish I had just found you 6 months ago before I invested in this mastermind. And I'm like, man, but you got to know, you got to know how to do it first. And so it really bothers me that there are coaches out there charging brand new coaches $20,000 for private coaching or for masterminds. It's just ethically wrong. And it's so difficult on your business. So I just violently disagree with it. So before we get any further along on the ranting, we do have a free idea for you around masterminds because we're here to help. And I'm going to kick it off in just a moment, but let's take a short station identification break and go back to the 1980s.
We'll be back right after this message.
The Marketing Masterclass, a free training inside the shadowy world of business marketing. If you are wondering how to find paying coaching clients, you won't want to miss out. Join Christie Mims, the founder of Coach Pony, on a mission to help coaches get paid to coach. And you, a brilliant coach who just needs paying clients. Will you succeed? Absolutely. Go to CoachPony.com/marketing to grab your free seat today. CoachPony.com/marketing.
Welcome back, everyone. And our caller, I hope this has been helpful for you so far. I also want to say you can join a mastermind as a new coach. Just make a free one of your own if you really want to be supported by other coaches. And Bobbi and I were in a mastermind together that was expensive. We found each other and we were like, hey, when this is over, let's just leave and start our own thing. And that was something I've done repeatedly over the years. You've heard me say this before if you're a longtime listener of the podcast. Like, it's totally okay as a newer coach to find other newer coaches and just get together every month on the phone or in person for coffee, make it recurring, and just mastermind a little bit and share information on what you're learning and what's working or questions that you might have, and put your minds together and just do it for free until you're ready to pay for something and your business can afford something. Other than that, invest in training. Just going out there and struggling alone without really knowing how to get clients, how to find clients, or how to set up your 5 business systems is not going to be a success for you. And I've seen so many coaches fail when they do this. So come on over to coachpony.com/BARB if you want our help, but please get that training. Now, remember, you can still mastermind without having to pay that extensive price tag. It's not going to be the same experience as it would be if you're paying money and you're in a room of multi-6-figure and 7-figure coaches. That's not what you're going to get. But that's okay. You can get a lot from other coaches, a lot of support by just getting together regularly, virtually or in person, and cheerleading each other on, sharing your struggles and your doubts, sharing any resources or learning that you've discovered that's been helpful, and being there for each other because they understand what you're going through. So that is helpful at any level of business. And Bobbi and I are a testament to that. We started masterminding early in our businesses and we've continued for years and we've made plenty of money. And a lot of it is because of our relationships with each other.
That's right. We've helped each other so much. And we've met almost every week for 8 or 9 years?
Oh gosh, over 9 years now.
Seriously, you are my work wife, but this is the most valuable business relationship I've ever had.
Oh. So one last thought, if you are looking for people to mastermind with, join a business course or program with other coaches and then cherry pick your favorite people and start a group. I recommend setting recurring time on the calendar for at least a period of maybe 3 months, no longer than that, just so people can commit and see how it goes. And then at 3 months, you can re-up and meet every week or every other week or even once a month. It's up to you. Another thing you can do is if you're in a coaching certification, you can choose your favorite coaches from that and do the same thing. The best thing to do, though, is just to set a recurring meeting and then set a timeline for how long you're all going to commit to that recurring meeting. And that's what's going to help get you off the ground. If you have to find a new time every time you meet, it's not going to last for very long. But those are the 2 things I recommend. We always encourage our Build a Real Business students to start groups outside of the program to keep each other accountable and motivated, as well as participating in the program. But never be shy, or even just get into some free Facebook groups and just do some networking on LinkedIn or in Facebook and see if there's anyone you really like, and then maybe suggest a coffee and build a group that way. Bobbi, anything to add?
Have some kind of structure when you start, because then your sessions together really do become productive and everybody gets, what they need and also gets to contribute, which is really 50% of it for sure, right? Being able to help the other person. I love when I see you produce something and you're like, oh, that subject line works. Thanks for the suggestion, or something like that, and vice versa. So, so make sure it's not just sitting around and complaining or, have wine, but not that kind of wine.
Definitely. I recommend setting aside a certain amount of time in each mastermind meeting. So you might want to limit the group to, 4 or 5 people at most, and set aside 20 or 30 minutes where you mastermind on everyone's problem, either each time you meet or every other time you meet if you want to keep things a little bit shorter in terms of your meeting time. That being said, however, the final caveat I have, and I have to say this, is that a free mastermind with new coaches does not replace good, solid business training. It is so easy to be led astray if you are all new and inexperienced in the group. So please don't start a free mastermind and think that that's going to replace learning your 5 core business systems: coaching, marketing, education, conversion, and onboarding. You need to know how to do all 5. And obviously, over at Coach Pony, we've got free resources for you as well as our Build a Real Business program over at coachpony.com/BARB. That's Barb. I'm not going to push you to sign up for our stuff, but I'm just saying, if you like this podcast, you are going to love the Barb program. It is so much more. But most important, find a program with tons of reviews. Find a program with proven results. Ours has over 1,500 coaches in it. Find a program with lots of resources, and find a program where you really, really like the coach and you like the way that they teach. So I'll say it one more time. Masterminding is great. Even a free mastermind with new coaches is great for your business as long as you recognize the limitations and do not replace a mastermind with business basics.
And really, truly, the best situation is being part and participating in something like Build a Real Business and finding your mastermind partners through there. It's like the perfect solution.
And with that, we should do a recap. But before we do, let's talk about what has brought us this podcast. And as always, it's chocolate. In this case, it's Harry and David's chocolate truffles, which perhaps my dad got for Father's Day. I come from a long line of chocolate snobs, and so we have a whole thing about we never get each other any milk chocolate or white chocolate because that's just eating trash. My dad has reported that it's pretty good. He did not say it was amazing, but pretty good isn't bad. So Harry and David's chocolate truffles, and of course, by the Marketing Masterclass.
We'll be right back.
And we're back. So caller, we're going to wrap up with a recap because I know we shared a lot of information. So hold on to the line and here we go. Bobbi, recap number 1.
Don't join a high-end mastermind until you've built a really solid basic business, have business processes in place, and have something to offer the group.
And to build on that, don't join a high-end paid mastermind until your business can support you. But if you do want a mastermind, the final tip is that's okay. Create a free mastermind with some coaches to get the mental support, to share motivation, a shoulder to lean on, and some resources and learnings with each other as you navigate this. And of course, that doesn't replace business training, so make sure you get both. Caller, thank you so much. Bobbi, should we turn to the next caller?
Let's go.
Okay, next caller.
Radio.
Thanks for listening. You're awesome, Coach.